Hi everyone. Well, 2025 was a great year for AI. What can we expect in 2026? Let's get into it. Let's look back at what we thought might happen in 2025. So I think most people said that 2025 would be the year of agentic AI. And indeed it was. We saw the rise of Manus AI, which was really the first big agentic AI that came out. And then we saw OpenAI with Operator come into the market. And then basically with O3 and then the various models that came out in 2025, the ability for AI to break a whole series of different tasks into numerous little bits and bobs and be able to go out and action it really became part of what we would expect from AI in 2025. And I think it's been really successful and certainly something that I've used and done lots of videos on. So I think agentic AI has really come into itself. I think the other things that we've seen are the rise of vibe coding. I think at the start of last year that was starting. And I've certainly found that even without any coding skills at all, by using AI, whether it's Gemini, whether it's ChatGPT with their codecs, whether it's Claude with Claude Code, the ability to code now has basically become something that everyone can do. And I have built several apps that run on my website as a result of vibe coding. So I think we've seen both agentic AI and vibe coding become part of the landscape. Now, what's happened in the business sector? So I think we've seen companies having traversed this year, and it feels like it's been a long year, but traversed the year going from what type of AI should I use? How should I use it? What should I use it for? To saying, actually, what tasks do I need to complete? How can I make this work for me? Some skepticism in the business community about whether AI is going to be there or not and whether it's going to make a difference. So I think really saying, actually, we know how AI is there. How do we use it effectively? How do we make a difference to our business? So AI has become much more a part of what's happening in the business environment. I saw a survey recently that in the UK, use of AI has gone up from about 18% maybe into the mid 25. So 25% of companies are now using AI. I think by the end of 2026, that could be nearer 80 or 90%. We've also seen regulation become more important with the EU AI Act coming to pass. And by the middle of this year, that's going to be making a real difference to the way companies use AI. And this video here will tell you what the EU AI Act is all about and what's really important for it. And the TLDR is, if you're doing anything with AI that makes a serious decision that's going to affect somebody's life, then you need to be really careful. Otherwise, you could be up for some rather big fines. I think as we've seen the companies improve and launch new models, we've seen the rise of Nvidia and the use of new chips. I think energy has become more of an issue in the last year. And I think as we move forward into 2026, energy will become a more important discussion around the growth of AI. How can we make sure that we're powering this technology effectively and as greenly as possible? I think that's something that we're going to hear about in 2026. I think it's been really interesting to see how as new models have come in, as ChatGPT 5 came in, how upset people got about losing 4.0 and that model that was sent to the dustbin being brought back because people liked using it. Clearly, there is an increase in how people feel emotionally about the use of their AI. I think it's a bit daft, but it certainly makes a difference for people. So I think the firms are now understanding that the way AI interacts with us is more and more important, and we build a relationship with it. So just chucking it away is often not the answer, and people need to be given a choice about which AI they use. Now, my first prediction for 2026 is that there will be a bit of a backlash from AI. And I think we've already seen it here in the UK. Grok's ability to create dodgy photographs of people became a national issue in the UK. And with potentially the threat of banning Grok from the UK, which I think would be quite difficult to do. But we see that Elon has relented and said that Grok won't be able to produce images that are effectively illegal in countries like the UK and in Europe, and it will still be allowed to produce dodgy images, but only in those countries where that sort of activity is legal. Now, I think we will see more of this sort of thing with people pushing back against AI. Personally, I think AI is getting better and better. We, Mrs. Professor and I recently did a test on AI and how it would respond to somebody with a mental health issue. To be honest, I did it to see if it was really bad, because I thought that'd be a good video, but actually it was very good. And it was really difficult to pick a hole in it. But I think that intervention of AI in the human space will become, we're going to have to be more careful about it. And I think people feel confident about the sort of backlash against AI, and we might see more of it. Here in the UK, a chief police officer has recently lost his job, mainly because the investigation used Copilot that produced a hallucination, quite difficult to say, that went public, and he has stepped down from his role. So I think people are looking for problems with AI. I think it's going to become more prominent, and we might see more of that backlash in 2026. And I guess building on that, I think my second prediction is that human-led, human in the loop, that human-centered AI is going to become more and more important. And while I think there will be a lot of jobs impacted by AI, there'll be a lot of jobs that are lost and are replaced by AI, the value of human interaction, human decisions, human thought will become more valuable. And I think that's a good thing. Prediction number 3, as I said at the beginning, I think agents have really appeared in the last 12 months. I think over the next 12 months, they will mature, and people will be using agents in their everyday workflow. I think right now they're a bit of fun. I will be interested to see how they develop over the next 12 months, but I think that agents will enable us to do much more effectively. And we will see more agents in more workflows, in more businesses over the next 12 months. Prediction number 4, I think we will see the regulation become much more important, and that will have a number of impacts on business and on how AI works. I think we will start to see new roles around AI auditing and assurance and governance. And I think companies are going to have to work through what these mean for their business, because regulation is going to become more important. And as I said earlier, I think the public are going to be quicker to point out errors. I think anything that looks like hallucination will become a talking point and a media point. And so I think that regulatory side of AI is going to become more important and going to impact how we use it, who does what, how it's done, and the governance around the whole AI piece. I think that's a big play for 2026. Prediction number 5. So open source has gone a little bit difficult, isn't it? We had DeepSeek right at the beginning of 2025, and I think expecting an update from there. Llama had their sort of disastrous launch of their new model in the middle of the year. And I think there was some suggestion that they perhaps sort of fudged the testing. And so really the big models, the closed source models, so Gemini, Claude, OpenAI, Grok, have really sort of dominated the market in the latter part of the year. So have we seen the end of open source? I don't think so. I think we will see open source come back. I think it's important for the sector, and it's important for the technology, but will it get back to being sort of level par with the closed source? Probably not. Prediction 6 is that, and I've done a bit of this in videos throughout 2025, the ability to create simulated environments using AI, I think will become more and more important. And I think we will see the rise of a new role, sort of a simulation engineer, but the ability for AI to sort of create environments that then can be interrogated and worked with will become a really important part of this arena. So yeah, look out for that simulation as part of the AI offer. Prediction 7. So currently I access almost all of my AI through a keyboard. Sometimes I will use the sort of voice interaction, etc. But I wonder whether in 2026 we will see a rise of wearables, different interfaces, different ways of interacting with AI that take us away from the keyboard. I hope so. I'm looking forward to see what ChatGPT and OpenAI produce as their first wearable, which I would expect in 2026. I think it might be a pen. We'll see. We've seen some wearables that can sort of monitor environments, etc. But I think we will move from just being keyboard and perhaps a bit of voice into something a bit more exciting in 2026. I hope so. And finally, my 8th prediction. So at the beginning of 2025, ChatGPT, OpenAI, in my view, way out in front. And I think even as far as the summer when ChatGPT 5 and 5.2 is really good, I think they've been way out ahead. And then Google have come charging back with Nano Banana, Gemini 3, a whole load of tools. Notebook LM remains one of my favorite tools to use. But Google have come roaring back, and I think now are probably a nose ahead of OpenAI. So are we going to see Google continue to press ahead, or are we going to see OpenAI sort of pull back with something big? Are we going to see Grok and Claude doing really well with Claude Code, very popular with coders, definitely. So perhaps finding their own niche. Grok had a big launch in the middle of last year. I expect there'll be another big launch in 2026. We shall see whether that really can sort of compete with Gemini. But at the moment, I think Gemini a little bit ahead. Will we see another player, perhaps DeepSeek, making a big play in 2026? I'm not so sure. But yeah, certainly at the moment, it feels like Google are ahead. And interestingly, we've seen Meta buy Manus, which I think is an interesting move. Manus, fantastic use of tools, and I think their architecture is the best for that agentic AI activity. So maybe a really good move by Meta. I'm sure the Zuck is not gone and lost. So I'd be really interested to see what happens. Also, where's Apple? Where's Apple in this game? You know, one of the biggest players in the tech field, not really playing at all. They have signed a deal with Google to provide the sort of backbone for Apple, which is amazing, their main Android competitor. So yeah, we shall see, but really odd that Apple are not playing in this field. Is that going to continue? I don't think so, but nothing on the horizon. So really interesting. Will ChatGPT fight back, or will, by this time next year, will we be saying what's happened to ChatGPT? I think that's possible. Google right now on fire. So what should you be doing now as a business person, as an entrepreneur, as somebody who's just interested in this technology? So what I would say is, 1, start having a go. If you're not using AI now, this is the year for you to get focused on AI. Go and look through my videos. There's tons of videos on my channel, but there's tons of videos out there on YouTube. Start looking and start playing with AI. If you're already there, make sure pick a number of workflows and work through how AI can support you with those workflows. Define 2 successes for each of those workflows, 2 things that will make your life easier. Make sure that anything that's really important has a human step in it. Don't create something that's going to go off and buy stuff without asking you. Make sure that there is a human in the loop. Log how that process went, what worked, what didn't work. And if it doesn't work, scrap it, move on. If it does work, then deploy it. Test it, then deploy it. And then if you manage people, if you're in a team, make sure that your team are starting to build their AI skills. One of the things that worries me, keeps me up at night, if you like, is that businesses are not embracing this technology quickly enough, and that they're going to wake up one day and find that they've got no business left. So if you're in a business, if you're not using AI, this is the year when you should start making the most of this technology. Okay, so I've given you my predictions. Tell me what your prediction is. Write down below in the description what you think is going to happen in 2026. And then this time next year, we'll review them and see whether you were right or I was right. All right, I've been the Professor. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye for now.